Hey, what's up, y'all? This is David Cruz here. Today, I want to bring you my personal top 5 suggestions of do's and don'ts if you're either a first-time beginner into your fitness journey, or you're just getting back into it from maybe taking some time off for whatever reason. I'm gonna just jump right into it. I know what it's like to be a beginner, and I know what it's like to get back into something where you once was at a certain place and you feel like that's where you need to be. So I'm gonna start with my number 1 suggestion: do's. Give yourself permission to start wherever you're at. I don't care if you've never done or never walked into a gym before. This is a great time for you to experience something new and to kind of grow into a new part of your life that might be beneficial later on. Don't compare yourself to what you see on social media, magazines, or on TV, or anything like that. Where there's no two people in this world alike, so I want you to be comfortable and accepting on where you are now, and have a vision of what you want to eventually accomplish as time goes on, as you get more into this new walk that you're about to take advantage of. It's going to be scary, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to get comfortable, but you got to start somewhere and give yourself permission just to pull the trigger and begin, whether it be just signing up and then swiping that key card, or buying, or getting some work done at home. I don't care how you do it. The goal is to begin somewhere and stay consistent. Which brings me into number 2. Stay consistent, all right? There's gonna be times where, I call it the fever. The fever hits, and then you're all of a sudden off to the races. You're off and running. Everything is beautiful. You go 3 days straight, or even a week. Some people even 2 weeks, and you're off consistent. And then life happens where you might have to, dodge a few obstacles and take an unexpected day off, or just fall off, whether it be in your nutrition, because that's going to come up in a second. Whether it be in your nutrition, and the habit that you're creating of just going to the gym or getting your workout in, or whatever it is, or just starting, if you're starting off as at the level of just taking walks, something comes up, a snowstorm hits, and you can't, whatever it is. What I'm telling you is that if you fall off for any reason, do get back up and continue on where you left off, all right? Even if there's some obstacles, because there's gonna be, I promise you that. But how we deal with those is gonna make the difference. Don't fall off and fall off of a day or even a week. Don't turn that into a week or a 2-month thing, or even forever, never get back on again, which is the scariest thing you can do. Don't let the fact that you had something come up and you tripped and stumbled be an excuse or take away from the fact that you started something. You kind of stumbled a little bit, and it's okay not to get back up. Everybody, we all, even as a trainer, fitness enthusiast, and anybody who I've ever worked with, we are going to have those situations that come up. Get back up. Dust off and get back on track. Right? You got to get back up. It doesn't have to be 100%. I'm going to tell you like this. You're going to feel some, especially if you're just getting back into it or starting it for the first time, you're going to feel some uncomfortableness, all right? Some tweaks, some parts in your body is going to hurt more than others. All right? Don't let that kind of take you away. Heal, rest, but don't let the rest be lack of activity. That's what I'm trying to say, or an excuse to not continue to push forward. 3, because this is the middle of it, I'm going to touch up on a little bit of nutrition. Start taking care of that. Being physical or not overwhelming yourself by diving in too deep into the physical or too deep into the nutritional part. Don't let that overwhelm you in a sense of you're doing too much at one time. I'm going to talk about this in the nutritional part. All right, it's easy to do. You start clearing things out, and a lot of times staying physical, at least it's been in my experience, everybody's different. The physical is not as difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy, but not as difficult as being disciplined in the nutritional aspect of it. You can go and get your workout in, you feel good, that you created a habit or started to. It's going to take 21 days for things to really stick. All right, that's the easy part. But then you get home and then you still have all this stuff in the house, or you just fall off for one reason or another in that aspect, right? Don't do too much at one time. Give yourself permission. One of the things that I like to recommend is start Xing out sugary drinks. All right, if you're a soda drinker, that's an easy one. Start slowing down on that, or take it right out of the equation. If you're a sweet tooth, get that stuff out of the house. Start somewhere, all right, and then slowly build up. Make one change, whatever that may be. You know what it is. Choose one thing to be disciplined on, and then slowly you'd be surprised. But staying consistent with the workouts or with your activity level, and then adding that in there, they're gonna fuel each other. All right, and then that's when magic happens, when they both come together, because one is not necessarily better than the other. You could go work out till you're blue in the face, but if you're coming home and eating everything in sight, it's gonna backfire. All right, I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's gonna backfire. You know what I'm talking about. All right, start somewhere, and in my opinion, I would say start Xing out sugary drinks. Eat your calories. Don't necessarily drink it. All right, and then eventually, as you get more, then you start doing more. And only you know what that is. You know what your devils are. All right, maybe you need to cut back on a few drinks at night, whatever it is. Do what works for you, but you gotta do something. All right, don't just lollygag and do one and not the other. It's gonna backfire. All right. Number 4, give yourself. Don't do too much of one thing. I'm talking to you cardio junkies out there. Sometimes we walk into a fitness facility and it's a scary place. All right, it can be. All right, to some people, once you get comfortable with it, that's gonna sound crazy to you. Like, nah, it's not scary. What are you talking about? Let me tell you something. If you've never walked into a real commercialized or a gym before, that can be one of the scariest things in the world. Trust me, I understand this. Give yourself time to experience both ends. If you're a cardio junkie, and what I mean by that is, I take that back. If you're one of those people that only focus on cardio and not strength, you got to have a good balance of both. I mean, I'd rather you start somewhere where you feel comfortable, whether it be the treadmill, elliptical, which is a great machine for all levels of fitness, but most of all, for anybody who's coming back into it, because it's a lot easier and more forgiving on the joints by you doing this cross-training movement, and it builds you physically and mentally to feel confident enough to go and then do other stuff, like ease into that floor and start on those machines, because a good balance of both. You got to do a little bit of strength, and if you're going to attack the strength machines, you're going to probably see, if you go to a big gym, you're going to see 1,000 of them. Focus on 4, all right? Pick your top 4, maybe even 3, but focus on a good 4. Focus on something you're going to push, like a chest press, all right? Aim for about 15 repetitions, 2 or 3 sets, which means 15 repetitions, 15 times at a good weight where you can complete the whole 15, but it's kind of challenging up top. For 2 or 3 times. A set is a certain amount of repetitions, all right, in one block. So, 2 sets would be sitting on the chest press machine, which is a good old favorite, and doing that about, for 15 sets. Do that twice. Give yourself permission to rest in between both of those for less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds or up to a minute. If you need longer, then do it. Everybody's different, so I'm talking to the general public. You know where you at. If you can go back, and if you can do 3 sets, even better, all right? So I would aim to do that. If you're doing the chest press machine, and you're looking for the next machine to do, Aim for opposite movements. This is a great way just to get comfortable with the floor, to get comfortable with pushing some weight around and challenging yourself in a good way where you're not overdoing anything. That's why I said 2 sets. Eventually you will climb that up to 3 sets. But for right now, don't do too much at one time, which I see a lot of. People go ham, they go hard when they first get back in, especially after the first week or so of being consistent. They feel like, boom, I'm here, I made it. All right, let's crank it up. Let's throw that real weight on, go up to max out. And then what happens is that you do too much and it becomes something else. And then you feel like you always have to go back to there, and 2 things happen. You either get injured, tweaked. And when I say tweaked, it means something feels uncomfortable and it prevents you from coming back the next day or sticking with the plan that you had in the first place. All right. So going back, aim for opposite movements. If you're doing the chest press, aim for something like a row on your second machine. Third machine, try to do the lower body. You know, maybe get into the seated leg press machine, or something that could feel comfortable. I would aim for powerful movement, like the chest press is a powerful movement. It's a multi-joint movement. Okay, so you're not doing like a curl. Curl is a single joint movement, which in the future I'll cover more on this. But just to give you the brief breakdown, whenever you're coming here and doing this, that's great, but it's not a powerful movement. Okay, it's just isolating the biceps, which every day is arm day. I get that part, but you want to make sure that what you're doing is you're making sure that you're getting the body prepared for that type of split training routine. Okay, and the way to do that is to be safe. So I would aim with multi-joint movements, 4 machines, chest press, rows, maybe get some squats in. I don't know if I'm out of frame. Boom, squat machines, and if you're gonna add resistance, get the leg press machine out. All right. If you're gonna do any of this stuff, make sure that it's at the end. You're doing something powerful with your lower body. Too often, I see people walking into the gym, sitting down on the knee extension, you know, that machine that you sit down and you're doing this. Great machine. Don't get it twisted. I'm a big fan of it, but like anything else, there's a time for it. I always recommend doing something powerful after a warm-up, doing something powerful, and then ending with those machines. Those are single joint movements. The knee is a joint. The single joint movements, whether you're kicking up or doing the laying down coming in. All right. You want to make sure that the knee joint, the whole body is warmed up, and your quads, the big muscles, are already fired up and activated and working. All right. Before you start isolating those little muscle groups. Okay. Big fan of them. Just know their place. I kind of just covered the don't do the single joint movements afterward. Don't do too much on one day. Have a vision and stick to that. I would say that. I set 4 machines. If you did 3, if you came in, did 10 minutes of elliptical, did 3 or 4 machines. If you could find the 4th one, make the 4th one something that you know of. A lot of times it's like an ab machine or something like that. Huge fan of it. I like to put that at the end, in the beginning of your fitness journey, right? Usually put it at the end, make sure everything's fired up, okay? Don't do too much at one time, then again it takes away from that. Okay. My fifth and final, I think I'm gonna stick with, in order for you to create a habit, make sure that you plan ahead. Right? There's tons of information out there these days. There's tons of information on the internet. Every store that you walk into has fitness magazines. You're watching my video, you've already been doing a little bit of research, or you're already a fitness enthusiast. Have a skeleton. Whenever I say skeleton idea, means that nothing's written solid. All right, so you give yourself a little bit of flexibility so that you don't set yourself up for failure. But a skeleton idea, an idea of what your week is going to look like. Not tomorrow alone, your week. All right, you know that today is Sunday or whatever. Today is, I don't care if it's Wednesday. I've started journeys on Wednesdays. I don't care what day it is. But you know today is this day. For the next 3 or 4 days, you're going to go. You're going to hit the gym 3 times a week. If you're able, or your vision is to do it 5 times, hey, do it 5 times. Have a vision for each one of those days. Okay, one day I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to knock out some cardio with a little bit of abs and and X, Y, and Z, okay? Then Tuesday, I'm gonna do maybe opposite of that. Maybe I'm gonna do some back and stuff like that. Or I'm just gonna just do cardio. And then on Thursday, I'm gonna do a warm up and just do strength, okay? Depending on where your fitness level, your comfort, or your knowledge is, okay? Have a skeleton idea, have a plan. Don't just go in there too much freestyling. Now, you're gonna walk in there sometimes, and there's gonna be some times where you have this vision written solid stone, and depending on, you just get out of work, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, you walk in there, it's 5 o'clock. If you've ever been to the gym at 5 o'clock, you better be flexible, because it's gonna get real. The machine that you had your eyes set on, that you've been doing for a week, just got taken. Be open to try something new, all right? The hardest part, the hardest part is gonna be being able to not get down, is giving yourself permission to just be like, all right, boom, all right, so I wanted to do this today, you know what, I'm gonna say that for tomorrow, I'm gonna do this. And if there's too much going on where you feel uncomfortable kind of freestyling and going through, or the plan that you had just really isn't sticking, then go hard on one thing for a certain amount of time. Don't go for hours at the gym. I'd rather you go 30 or 40 minutes or up to an hour with a warm up and a cool down, or up to an hour, and give me good intensity, than spend an hour and a half at the gym, you know, and do way too much and be unmotivated to continue to go back and think you have to hit that same target every time. So those are my recommendations. I would say keep it simple. Make sure that you create a habit of just checking in, or at least having a vision, staying consistent. Consistency is the secret. That truly is. Nothing else really matters. Staying consistent and staying disciplined, and giving yourself permission to trip and stumble a little bit, and then getting back up and then continuing on the journey. I wish you the very best. A happy new year. 2017 is your year, and I see it. So any changes that you need to make, you know which ones are the important ones. Make sure that you stick with them, and I wish you the very, very best. My name is David Cruz. I can't wait to do this again with you. Happy New Year.